Good morning to everybody. We are very happy to have you all online. A huge number of people are connected apparently, and the number is still increasing. Our purpose today is to talk about circularity of plastic waste. And we have a very nice panel, a brilliant panel of people today. I'll present them to you later. We are very happy to have all these people and experts here today to talk to you about circularity of plastics. So plastic is a very popular material. And there are good reasons to that. It is a versatile product. It is very durable. It is also a product that can mimic many types of materials. And not the least, it is a cheap material, not expensive, which explains probably part of its success. But if you listen to the OECD, in 2020, the production of plastics was 460 million tons, including fibers. That's a huge number. And that makes plastics one of the major raw materials used by our industry. But because of this success, plastics also comes with a drawback, with several drawbacks actually, in terms of environmental impact. Mismanaged plastic waste may enter the environment, and we can see it all around us. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation says that by 2050, if we continue that way, we'll have more plastics in the oceans than fish. And these plastics tend to fragment into microplastics, which can then enter into our food chain with possible health impacts. Fossil resources are also an issue because plastic uses a lot of them, and there is a risk of depletion of natural resources. And finally, last but not least, there is a huge CO2 impact to produce fossil plastics because of all the energy use, which comes with climate impact. So we need to tackle these problems collectively with all the actors of the value chain, with all the industry. We believe all together here around the table today that recycling is part of the solution. It is certainly a major part of it, but it is not sufficient, necessary, but not sufficient. And the purpose of our webinar today is to demonstrate how the industry and how the different institutions can improve the problem of plastics through recycling. So let's go to see our agenda right away and have a look at our speakers. We will start the webinar with Benoît Perreau to give us a view on Veolia's approach. Then we will go to make a focus on UK with Thimothé Duret from Veolia UK, to make a focus on Japan. We will have Anthony Leroy from Veolia Japan, as well as Mr. Ogura-san from Mitsui, our partner in Japan. And I thank Mr. Ogura-san to join us today. And they will make a focus on what's happening in Japan, a very innovative country in terms of plastics recycling. We'll then make another focus, not on a geography, but on an industry, which is the packaging industry. And we will have Philippe Vieira from Circpack and Jean-Emile Potaufeux, from Recyclass, to talk about EPR schemes and to talk about design for recycling of packaging. Packaging is responsible for 50% of our plastic waste, so it's really an important topic. And then we'll go to talk together with Laurence Huerre and from Veolia France and Mr. Rémi Daudin from Forvia, and I thank Mr. Daudin to join us today, to talk about France as an example of a European country, and also to talk about another industrial segment, the automotive segment, which is committing more and more to using recycled plastics. To start with, right away, let's see an animation, a short video about our PlastiLoop initiative.
Ecological transformation of plastics with PlastiLoop. PlastiLoop is the Veolia Group's recycled plastics offering worldwide. PlastiLoop is a unique range of high-quality circular polymers. Veolia produces a wide variety of recycled resins in the form of flakes, pellets, compounds or even filaments. Each of these plastics meets the strictest quality and compliance standards and can be used in your processes as a substitute for virgin resins. How can we guarantee such a performance? Firstly, because we are present at all stages of the plastics recycling value chain, from collection to the production and quality control of ready-to-use circular polymers. PlastiLoop also benefits from the expertise and reliability of the Veolia Group. With over 30 years of experience in plastic recycling, our teams have developed incomparable know-how. PlastiLoop is also a tailor-made solution. The PlastiLoop offer adapts to your needs. We strive to combine the quality you expect with optimal availability and value for money. Our expertise in formula development and our innovation capability enables us to create technical resins tailored to your flagship products. Supported by a global network of nearly 40 recycling plants and our extensive presence in Europe and Asia, we are at your side on a daily basis in a true partnership approach to facilitate your industrial processes and provide reliable support over the long term. PlastiLoop is above all a choice for the environment. Given that plastic consumption is constantly increasing, and environmental issues have never been so clearly a focus, using recycled resins is essential for improving the environmental footprint of your products. With PlastiLoop, you reduce the use of crude oil and reduce your carbon footprint by 70 to 95% compared to virgin plastic. More importantly, you make plastic circularity a reality. Combining committed eco-design and PlastiLoop resins, your products will achieve several life cycles, benefiting the environment. Reliable, circular, customized. PlastiLoop is the promise of successful ecological plastic transformation. Join the PlastiLoop revolution today.
So I'm here with Benoît Perreau. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Sven.
Benoît, you are Markets and Clients Director for Solid Waste at Veolia. Please tell us a bit more about what we do at Veolia on plastics recycling.
Okay, thanks, Sven. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you. Happy to be with you today. Yes, as you said, circularity of plastic is at stake. What an amazing material, so versatile and useful when properly used, but what a nightmare when improperly managed. The market, you, our customer, the national organization, the planet is asking for a solution to boost circularity in plastics. At Veolia, definitely we believe that beyond reduce and reuse, giving value and the best second life to plastic streams is the best way to boost circularity, to impact on greenhouse gas emission, on resource saving, and to fight against pollution, especially in emerging countries, where the most of the littering is happening. I mean, collection and managed landfill is much better than unmanaged dump sites. Incineration is much better than littering to the environment, but above all, giving value with recycling to any plastic is the best way to reduce and impact on the littering and on all those topics. Since years, Veolia is involved in collection, sorting, and recycling. Click. And we have, over the last decade, built an amazing network of more than 1,000 resourcers, I mean, operators, plant manager, lab teams, development experts over the world, about 40 sites able to together deliver about 600,000 tons of circular polymers every year. Can you imagine? Most of our plants are using mechanical recycling. Why? Just because it's the most mature solution able to deliver at scale. It has by far the best greenhouse gas emission footprint and also a fair yield. It ensures transparency and credibility in the claims that you, our clients, need to grant to our customer for your iconic products, because your customer deserve transparency. And last but not least, mechanical recycling is still improving day after day, years after years. Chemical recycling for sure will have a role in the ecological transformation of plastic, but it is still far from delivering its promise, especially in terms of transparency, with the mass balance allocation, yield, and the capability to process the most complex streams of plastic, which definitely are the gap to fill. So a warning today, whatever the promise of the technology can be, it shall in no way entertain the illusion that business as usual could be a sustainable solution, just because it is not. So nobody alone has the solution. Circularity of plastic is a collective responsibility, starting from eco-design, proper organization with EPRs, DRS, and so on, long-term partnership on the downstream, and all that has to be supported by strong regulations with recycled content objectives, mandatory recyclability of the products put on the market, and whatever the pressure on carbon emissions will be a powerful driver in the coming years, so that we definitely need to move quickly.
Thank you, Benoît. And very quickly to conclude, could you remind us the promises of PlastiLoop?
Yes, PlastiLoop so has been launched to ease the life of our customer. Click. We have structured our product range by market, series, and grades. You can see here the pillars of our promise, which are driven by our purpose. So compliance with high quality and guaranteed performance, reduction of greenhouse gas emission, and saving resources. I'll let you read this. PlastiLoop is a name, but is much more than a name. Behind the name, there is a unique range of proven and high quality grades, which has been developed and qualified for you, the front runner of your market, especially for your iconic products. Ready to use circular polymers for each application, with the benefit of beyond the Scope 3 reduction, enabling a reduced time to market, mitigating the risk to switch to new polymers. And our goal is with you to build long-term partnership to disrupt boundaries and deliver at scale. Let's now get insight from a few partners and countries.
Thank you, Benoît. Thank you. And let's go directly to Thimothé Duret. Thimothé Duret, you are Director of Sustainable Technology for Veolia UK. Thank you for being with us. You're connected from London.
Yeah, hi Sven. Indeed. So I'm going to give you a snapshot on the UK. When it comes to plastic and plastic management for the country. So the UK has an ambitious target when it comes to plastic recycling for the next 5 to 10 years. But to show you the context here, so Veolia is leading in terms of waste management with a high range of municipal contracts, sorting facilities. So you can see on the map here the red dotted points, which are sorting facilities. So it's where we sort between the different fractions, glass, metals, plastics, and fiber. And we also have 3 key sites where we sort and actually reprocess plastic mechanically, as Benoît mentioned earlier. So I'll come later in the presentation about the details of what we are doing. But the key thing, I guess, for the UK is quite a specific situation as an island. We still rely a lot on export as an industry when it comes to plastic recycling. And this is what the government is aiming to change. So more domestic infrastructure. And Veolia has a key role here with our experience locally to invest more, to recycle more plastics for the benefit of our clients. So quickly on the markets. So when we think about plastics, we all think about the plastic bottle or the plastic film, but actually packaging is only 40% of what is being placed on the market. There's other sectors like construction, textiles, automotive, and so on. And our goal, our aim is to provide, solution, credible solutions to our clients on all these type of material. So on the right, you can see three, let's say, emblematic items for the UK. Top right, the milk bottles. I'll come back to that later in the presentation, but that's something which is quite unique for the UK consumers. We have the textile with the fast fashion industry, which is a real challenge today and need to be addressed. And then finally, on the bottom right, you got the trays, what we call for the ready meals, the fruit trays, the meal trays, etc., which is also an item which requires a challenge. And Veolia has, in its strategy, decided to tackle these three stream of material to provide a solution to the clients, municipal, but also on the private sectors with partnerships. And again, I'll come back to that to show you what we are doing. So in terms of the government, I mentioned about the ambitious target for the country to increase plastic recycling. The main thing, the top thing which has been done recently was a plastic tax. So it was a world first. It was in April 22. And the government has decided to tax plastics which was not containing sufficiently recycled content. So that's for any plastics with less than 30%, being manufactured or imported in the UK, there was a £200 per ton tax on the packaging, and that was really a game changer when it comes to the sourcing of material in terms of the behavior of the consumer and the industry, and that really shaped the relationship with industry to ensure that there was a compliance with this new rule, but also a long-term vision for the manufacturers, because we realized quickly that there was a shortage of recycled material because everyone was trying to purchase this material. So that really created a change. But what needs to be done, and the government is aware of that, is the calibration of this tool, of the plastic tax, to ensure that it keeps supporting the investment, etc. The plastic tax will be calibrated, will be escalated, rolled out, maybe on other types of plastic than packaging, and it's a key change for us in the country, and I'm sure we'll see in many other countries, because it's part of the European regulation, more of these initiatives across the globe. This comes along with another set of regulation. So we have the deposit return scheme, to incentivize the consumers to bring back the bottles. We have the consistency of collection, which basically means nationally we'll collect all the same type of material, and then the extended producer's responsibility, which will finance, the producers, the brands, will finance more the waste management system. So all this together with the plastic tax, we really have a new landscape for plastic recycling to support the investment. The UK has a roadmap to develop this infrastructure. So here you can see at the top 2020 where the plastic is going once it's being consumed. So in yellow, that's the incineration. So a lot of plastic still going to the incineration. In light blue, you got the exports. And in dark blue, you got the mechanical recycling. And what you see is in 10 years' time, by 2030, well, 7 years, so that goes quickly, there will be a huge increase needed when it comes to mechanical recycling. As Benoît mentioned, that's the mature technology. That's something we are expert at, and we'll see more of about 40 to 50 just for the UK of these facilities will be required to achieve the target. So there's a huge challenge, but also huge opportunities, because we know what to do. We need to develop these facilities. I will leave, there's other things about, chemical recycling and reduction on energy for waste, but I'm sure it'll be covered later in the other presentation. So that's where we are as a landscape.
Thank you, Tim. Very nice roadmap, impressive roadmap. Just in a very few words to quickly conclude, what does Veolia do in the UK?
So I mentioned about our infrastructure, that we are capable of collecting, sorting the material. But what we are doing concretely, we've been doing for several years, is to really provide our clients with a credible solution. So we have a facility, world-class facility, which recycle milk bottles back to milk bottles, and that means we are capable of keeping the plastic into the food chain. That's really virtuous circular economy. But we also tackle what we call the hard to recycle plastics. So we've got different offers where we've been able to support the like of McDonald's. We recycle their plastic toys into a garden furniture for children, etc. So we've got many examples of like bespoke but also at scale solutions for our clients. And I think with the support of the regulations, what we are aiming to do is to create long-term partnerships with our clients on the private and public sector to deliver these, again, credible solutions. So a lot has been done, but a lot more to be done for the UK for plastic recycling.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks a lot. Now let's turn to Japan and have a focus on that country together with Anthony Leroy, who is connected from Tokyo. Anthony, you are head of solid waste and recycling valorization for Veolia Japan. Please, the floor is yours to give us some words on the Japanese market.
Yes, hello Sven, and hello everyone. Happy to be here with you. Let me just start first with some general comment. When we have visitors here in Japan, they are always impressed, and this is true, by the level of service that Japan is, I would say, having. And two of them, I will just touch on two of them because it leads to some plastic question, I would say. Like the first is the convenience store. It's quite common in Asia, but we have those 24/7 open small shop with a lot of products which are individually packaged. And this is generating kind of a lot of plastic waste. So there is always sometimes a reverse side of the service. And there is also those I would say, PET bottle vending machine we can find everywhere in the street. So that was coming to my slide just after that, when we can see per person and per year the generation of PET bottle. And Japan is, I would say, unfortunately, leading this competition, unfortunately, I would say. But even though between municipal and industrial networks, there is a very high rate compared to some other country of the capture rate. So then those stream can be then used for recycling purpose, and the industry here on the bottle to bottle is already quite mature, but we will come back on this and including with our partner Mitsui after my presentation. And then still on the packaging waste, Japan is on the second position behind US, and each person per year is generating 32 kilo of plastic waste, packaging plastic waste. So then, as a whole, how the country is then seeing and moving regarding those 8.2 million tons of plastic waste generated every year. There are several already way of recycling those fractions. Unfortunately, you can see at the bottom that 13% are not recycled because it goes to straight incineration with no recovery at all. I mean, heat or electricity and so on. And a 5% part also going to landfill. So 88% is going through what it's classified today as a recycled way. But still, the incineration part, the using incineration is still high, 63%, versus the mechanical recycling, 21% as of today. There are some, I would say, more isolate also initiative on liquefaction gasification where the chemical recycling land. But today, to tackle this, because we know that the CO2 footprint of the chemical, the incineration recycling is not efficient compared to the mechanical one. So the trajectory and the strategy of the Ministry on Environment here, you can see on the right, is to triple from 20 to 60% this mechanically recycled fraction. Then this will go to reduction of the I would say, of the waste which are routed to incineration, but we will see. Today, Japan is already quite mature in terms of plastic recycling, and we have an EPR system that will be probably described later on this session, and the tax system also, including for the automotive industry, that I will touch just after that. But the question here is also, the Ministry on Environment has this strategy, but There are also, in the details, some subsidizing system in both ways, still incineration and still on the mechanical way. So I would say, from my point of view, if the country wants to accelerate this mechanical transition, I mean, mechanical recycling transition, the subsidies, I would say, attribution should be more clearly addressed. Then to tackle and to accompany this strategy of mechanically recycled fraction, we, as a Veolia Japan, here have developed a portfolio since 2016 through acquiring some entity, but also some building new one to develop a mechanical recycle our capacities. And the first of them are EcoStactory and GreenLoop, which are addressing some feedstock that you can see on the left, which are addressing the container and packaging waste, which are under a scheme of an EPR through the GCPRA. It's kind of, in France, we call it CTO. In Japan, this is the Japanese Container and Packaging Recycling Association. But then to continue address this, I would say, mechanical recycling facility capacity needs of the country, we have built recently, we are building one which is on the PET recycling, but we have built also another one on the plastics called plastics, which is able to address some more complex fraction, including some black plastic. I will not enter into the detail, but today the technology was not always able to address those black plastic, and now we have a process which is sorting by density the plastic, and we are able to address what we call the ASR, the automotive shredded residue, and to address the 200 to 250 kilo of plastic which are today in each car, and as of today they are all going to incineration. So there is a source here of to reduce the footprint, the overall footprint that the government is looking for. And then Planik is also able to address some what we call electronic and electrical waste. And our last factory that we are building now in the south of Japan, and with our partner Mitsui, Ogura-san will explain this just after, is to address the PET, bottle-to-bottle recycling needs of the country. So now that we have some facilities which are able to recycle mechanically, there are also some I would say challenge which are coming with those mechanical mechanically recycled fraction, and especially developing some I would say a product that are able to address a more and more demanding client on the client side, because on the industry side here in Japan, they have been always I would say use post-industrial fraction, and now they have to turn to the post-consumer one.
Thank you, Anthony. So we are a little bit late on schedule, so I propose we go directly to the presentation of Mitsui, and maybe we'll come back to you in the Q&A. So Ogura-san, thank you for joining us today. You are General Manager of the Polyester Department at Mitsui, and the floor is yours to explain what you do at Mitsui on plastics recycling and a little bit about our partnership in Japan.
Yeah, thank you, Steven-san, and good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for giving us this kind of opportunity to share our initiative with Veolia this time. I'm Takashi Ogura, working for Polyester Department in Basic Materials Business Unit in Mitsui. In the beginning, before we share our activity in PET recycling business, let me introduce our company in short. And our business is focused on growth through trading, business management, and project development, having 7 operating segments, and including chemicals segment, which I'm belonging to, handle PET. So we are creating new value by combining our diverse functions like marketing, finance, logistics, and risk management with our global network. Yeah, this is our global network. We have 127 offices in 63 countries worldwide. Then in chemical segment, we are handling 7.5 million tons of polyester raw materials like paraxylene, PTA, MEG, and PET resin, and dealing with major brand owners, converters, and retailers. In this polyester chain flow, we are stating only Japanese partner names as example, but we are dealing with customers and brand owners in overseas also. And now, we would like to share our joint initiative with Veolia. And our company formed a joint venture named Circpack with Veolia Japan and Seven & I Holding, who is a leading retail store chain in Japan. They have more than 80,000 store chain in worldwide and 22,000 stores in Japan. This project is a mechanical recycle from bottle to bottle. So we will collect waste PET bale in Japan and produce flakes and recycle PET pellet in Japan for mainly drinking bottle application. Currently, plant is under construction, and we will start commercial operation of 25,000 tons per year output in first half of next year. So the reason why our company entered into this business field through the investment to Circpack is because of brand owners' environmental target. As I mentioned, we are doing polyester business with brand owners, but mainly handling only petrochemical products. But due to brand owners' high consciousness toward environment under current circular economy trend and their target for usage ratio of eco-friendly materials like recycled one and the biomaterials, our company recognized it is required to handle not only petrochemical products, but recycled materials to fulfill our customers' demand and target. Then not only beverage brand owners, but retailers like Seven & I Holdings have same kind of target. That's why Seven & I Holdings joined our project as a shareholder to secure recycled PET, which will be used in their private brand package. Let's look at supply-demand balance of recycled PET in Japan in next slide. So as you see, the brand owners' recycled PET demand will increase gradually, and looking ahead to their goal in 2030, reaching more than 550,000 tons per year level. In the meantime, even in case we count current new plant startup, including Circpack, recycling capacity will not be enough in the future to cover recycled PET demand for bottle application. Not only supply-demand balance reviewing the size of recycling capacity, but also we need to look at raw material side, how we can or we should utilize waste PET bottles. So this slide is showing the waste PET flow in Japan. As you see, out of total around 600 of waste PET bottles, 50% will be collected by municipalities without cap and label in clean condition. Currently, existing bottle-to-bottle recyclers in Japan are using this grade as the main raw materials. In the meantime, another 50% of the waste PET bottles are collected by private collection companies with cap and label and leftovers sometimes. We call this grade as BD grade. This grade was exported to overseas and difficult to convert to recycled PET for bottle application so far. But as you remember, in this situation, and then recycled PET demand for bottle up more than 550,000 tons per year in 2030, definitely it is required to utilize BD grade waste PET bottle as a main raw materials. This is what our Circpack is aiming to do. We will use 100% BD grade as a raw materials, utilizing operation know-how and experience by Veolia. And in the last, let me share the Japanese recycled PET market characteristic and significance of circular PET business. In Japan, there are only a few bottle-to-bottle recyclers now. These recyclers' sales scale is around 10 to 20 billion yen level. Plastic emitting company like the retailer and brand owners are a large entity who has 2,500 to 3,000 billion yen sales scale. Under this market environment, plastic emitting company and brand owner has concern traceability, like whether their waste PET will be recycled properly, and product reliability. Also, assurance stable supply for long term to achieve their goal in 2030. So our circular pet, operated and controlled by large and experienced entity like Veolia, enter this business field in Japan has meaning to resolve this kind of concern by emitting companies and brand owners. That's all my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Ogura-san. That was a very valuable presentation. Thank you. So now let's focus on an industry, the packaging industry. And we will have Felipe Vieira online from Brussels, I believe. You are international analyst at Circpack. And I'll let you talk a bit more about Circpack, the EPR schemes.
Indeed. Thank you, Sven, and hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to represent Circpack today and give you some insight into our purpose and how we fit into the Veolia network. At a high level, we support stakeholders across the value chain via expertise and certification for their packaging formats. And we do this in pursuit of harmonization and the development of circular packaging solutions, which are some of the topics that I will be speaking on today. Diving a bit deeper, at Circpack, we seek to ensure the recyclability of your packaging. And we do this by offering a number of services. The first is tests and advice, which support your understanding of how your packaging format behaves in practice. This is supported by recycling certifications, which we manage ourselves and alongside one of our partners who will be speaking today, Recyclass. We offer our country reports and our Recore platform, which explore the world of recycling and EPR systems. And we offer freely available design for recycling guidelines for diverse packaging formats. And we support your other needs via specialized learnings and targeted recycling intelligence. And we're able to provide this service set so efficiently because we tie in to this massive global Veolia network. I wanted to start off today with a view of the world with respect to extended producer responsibility, which is of course a system that looks to hold producers accountable for the entire life cycle of their products, including their disposal and recycling, in order to promote sustainable production and reduce the environmental impact of waste. This is a topic which has seen significant global development over the past 15 years. Yet, as it stands, recycling streams worldwide are still highly inconsistent in terms of their application, development, and capabilities, which can limit the application of this EPR topic. As an example in practice, we've placed a map here of our online platform, which shows developed recycling streams for clear PET bottles in green, followed by developing and lagging streams. You can see how this immediately changes for PE flexibles. For some extreme formats, like PET trays, nearly all country streams are classified as limited. But this type of variance isn't limited to recycling infrastructure. Labeling requirements and deposit return schemes, as mentioned, are similarly complex, and you saw it previously for EPR. So diving a bit deeper into that topic, we wanted to highlight a number of implications that this concept has introduced. First and foremost, organizations need to be aware of material-specific packaging waste management regulations that they must follow, additional costs, including investments in recycling infrastructure and penalties for non-compliance, as well as plastic taxes, as mentioned by Thimothé in the UK. And they also need to be aware of an evolving regulatory environment that requires most businesses to adapt their packaging waste management processes. But above all, EPR and associated requirements have introduced complexity in between markets. So moving into what this looks like in practice, globally, countries have applied EPR and supporting concepts differently. You can see here that each of these major economies, those being France, the United Kingdom, Japan, and the United States, have not only applied these concepts, such as deposit return schemes at different levels, but if we dive deeper, even the same level of application can look quite different in practice. Taking a closer look at France and Japan, who have both applied EPR and supporting concepts at a similar level, their implementation can vary significantly. The specific example of eco-modulated fees here showcases this. While both countries assess charges via material groups and classifications, the criteria themselves are approached entirely differently. In France, assessment criteria are straightforward, though a complex system of two-stage bonuses and penalties have a significant impact on payable fees. Whereas in Japan, assessment criteria are more complicated due to the implementation of a comparably complex set of coefficients without the use of a bonus and penalty system. While this differentiation is often a result of making a system relevant for specific markets, it can make life complicated. Our customers are active in many countries, and they have varying requirements that they need to manage. And most importantly, our customers need to find efficiency in this now quite complex segment. And that's diverse efficiency. It's in terms of local knowledge, future outlooks, and quite importantly, product design. To this end, we offer a wealth of information via our country reports, which focus on the sustainability of packaging. They are a centralization of our EPR and recycling knowledge, but they're extensive. There are 1,000 plus pages for the global edition, each page of which is highly relevant to a specific stakeholder. Even with the inclusion of all of this difficult to find and highly relevant information, including summaries, localized knowledge, example calculations, and overviews, your work is not yet complete upon receiving the reports. If your organization is active in 15 markets and you need to compare the legislative background of each of these environments, differences in local EPR systems, eco-modulation, this can introduce quite a bit of background work. This is why we've introduced Recore, which allows you to see the information you want at a glance, as well as compare the countries which are relevant to you ad hoc. It is a centralization of our knowledge and digitizes the information included in our country reports, as well as specific information relating to packaging formats, which I showed earlier. Most importantly, a platform like this allows you to manage information in new ways. And this platform, even so, your work is not yet complete. It combines the support and with the work that Circpack performs, but you still need to undertake certifications, whether it's for the input materials, such as plastics, or for the recyclability of your packaging. And you need to understand how eco-modulation and local design for recycling requirements impact the design of packaging and where you're placing it on the market. And you also need to educate your teams. So I hope you'll see how this offering fits into the existing offer package at Circpack, by helping you to clarify local market environments and establish a base of comparison for the harmonization of topics and knowledge. We've supported many brands in this navigation, each with their own specific needs. And that brings me to the final point I would like to make on the topic of international harmonization, which is that we see a lot of discussion on this topic at a high level, particularly with the new European regulations. But as mentioned, we look to cut through this and provide a basis of comparison for international harmonization as a point of efficiency and value chain alignment. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippe. Thank you a lot. Just a small point to all of our connected users right now. We will have a Q&A session at the end, so you can start using your chat to ask your questions if you have some. And now I'd like to give the word to Mr. Jean-Emile Potaufeux. Mr. Potaufeux, you are technical manager at Plastics Recyclass Europe, and you are working for the Recyclass initiative. Please tell us a bit more about this initiative.
Yes, sure. Thank you and good morning. So maybe for those of you who don't know what Recyclass is, I will start by introducing Recyclass. So Recyclass is a non-profit cross-industry initiative that is advancing plastic packaging recyclability, as well as the transparent use of recycled content in plastic items. As it was already mentioned a couple of times in the past presentations, one of the key discussion today at the European level is on the different regulation and legislation, such as the packaging waste regulation, that are here to define, let's say, targets for the coming years. And there I would like to emphasize that when talking about harmonization, this is probably one of the key topics on which Recyclass is working. Harmonization at the European level indeed is key if we want to reach these European targets. And for that, Recyclass believes that an harmonization can only be made based on scientific findings. So that means that when talking about design for recycling, we need to have a scientific proof to say that this packaging can be recyclable or this one cannot be. This is probably the only way to give a credible message to the industry and then to move ahead when talking about design for recycling policies. These harmonization needs, of course, to be made on the current state of the art of the recycling processes in Europe, meaning, of course, mainly mechanical recycling today. But there we are also, let's say, evaluating and, let's say, mapping the evolution of these recycling processes. 5 years ago, when Recyclass started, there were, I would say, quite poor amount of information available. But thanks to the tests we performed over the past years, we were able then to give clear guidance for the industry when talking about design for recycling. And now Recyclass can be indeed defined as a toolbox, if I can say, where actually all our, let's say, all the different tools we are providing to the industry can be transparently available on our website. So there, that means testing protocols if you want to evaluate the recyclability of your packaging. That means also our design for recycling guidelines or our self-assessment online tool that can be used to see which recyclability certification you could get. And there, in parallel to this, Recyclass developed 3 different certifications, one for recyclability of plastic packaging, another one for the recycling processes, so they are generating recycled material, and another one for the traceability of recycled content.
Thank you, Mr. Potaufeux. Very clear on the purpose of Recyclass, and tell us a bit more how Recyclass works concretely with your partners.
Indeed, so today Recyclass can count on more than 85 members. So the one you can see here on the slide, you can see that we are working with the full plastic packaging value chain from raw material producers to brands and retailers through converters as well. But not only, because here, if we want to close the loop, of course, it is key to work with recyclers. And there we can count on the support of Plastic Recyclers Europe and their members to indeed close this loop and have all these actors around the same table to discuss about recyclability. And you can see also that we have about 20 different supporters that are here to share their expertise on specific topics. So you will find organizations such as UPA, FINET, or FEICA for ink, adhesive, or labels. But you will also see something quite interesting, that is that now we have 5 EPR schemes that are supporting Recyclass, respectively representing Belgium, Sweden, Norway, and Turkey. And so here, the idea at short to mid-term is to have eco-modulation fee that would be somehow standardized based on Recyclass design for recycling guidelines. One last word on this slide regarding harmonization. Here, I'm talking mainly about harmonization at the European level, but Recyclass is also looking at the harmonization at a more global scale, and this is in this context that we have a very good cooperation with the Association of Plastic Recyclers in the US, because when talking about recyclability, of course, that means talking about the recycling process developed at scale, but the science behind it remains the same. And so how we work, this is very basic. So as I said, Recyclass started by developing recyclability evaluation protocols to evaluate the impact on recyclability and on recycling of different compounds that can be present in plastic packaging. So here we can talk about barrier, we can talk about ink, laminating, adhesives, and so on. We have one protocol per each stream. And based on the results and data that are generated by this test, we can update our design for recycling guidelines to give guidances to the full value chain. Not here that this work is done with the support of all our members that are here to, let's say, judge the result based on their different level of expertise. And then all the information you will find on our guidelines are mirrored in our self-assessment online tool that can be used by everyone in the industry freely to see which recyclability class they could obtain. And that means, of course, then being able to obtain a recyclability certification that can be provided indeed by Veolia Circpack, as mentioned by Felipe right before. And so talking about certification, few words there on recyclability. Recyclass provides two different certifications. One for semi-finished packaging that would be called the letter of compatibility, that is more for converters for a business-to-business model. And other, let's say, certification for finished packaging this time. One that will be non-country specific, the other one that will be country specific. And these ones are, of course, more dedicated to brands or retailers.
Thank you, Jean-Emile. Thanks a lot for the presentation. Let's go right away to the last focus we wanted to make, which is at the same time about the geography, France and Europe, and also about an industry, the automotive sector. Laurence Huerre is here with me on the stage. Laurence, you are Business Development Manager for Plastics Recycling at Veolia France. Please tell us a bit more about the French market and the European market on plastics recycling.
Thank you, Sven, and good morning, everyone. Good afternoon for our Asian colleagues. In France, as in other European geographies, Veolia offers sustainable solutions to all its customers, municipal, industrial, and commercial, by collecting and sorting all their waste streams. And we are trying to offer always, as much as possible, recycling solutions. For plastics, we cover the entire value chain from the collection up to the production of high quality polymers. It's important to realize that the easiest part has been done. When I say easiest part, I mean collecting the simple packaging. It still needs to be improved because, as it was said before, really rightly, a lot of flexible and difficult packaging is still not recycled. But what about other waste streams, other plastic waste streams like plastic pipes, plastic car parts, flower pots, toys? Today, a lot of this, unfortunately, ends up in incinerators or in landfill. In France, new extended producer responsibility schemes have been launched, and this is great because it's crucial to develop the collection of all these plastic waste streams. But it will not work by itself. It's important also to maintain a reliable and resilience on all the value chain. And this means sustainability of the business model. The sustainability of business model, it means also stopping the comparison between virgin and recycled plastics and recognizing the real value of recycled plastics. Today, our industrial customers who are making the right choice and they are moving to using circular polymers, sometimes they are not encouraged, they are penalized. For example, today, the virgin plastic is dropping, and if they carry on using recycled plastics, they are penalized. This is not right. It should change. How should it change? It should change through regulation, as it was said before. Some regulations are currently being put in place for packaging, for example, automotive, hopefully this summer, but it also should be implemented in other applications, such as construction, building, and also consumer goods. It's very important to stop this comparison and to promote and boost the circular economy. In France, we have 4 recycling sites. Maybe we can move to this. Perfect, thank you. We have 4 recycling sites. One Cyclia is dedicated to the preparation. We have seen before, some plastic streams are not ready to be recycled straight away. They need to be properly sorted, properly prepared, and also color sorted before it can be put into a recipe to create the compound. So we have this site now, and we also have 3 other sites dedicated to the recycling of PP, PE, and styrenics, with 60,000 tons of roll capacity and an expansion plan in Froissy to get to 80,000 tons.
Laurence, tell us, what are the industrial applications of your recycled plastics?
So today we cover a wide range of applications, from building and construction up to electronic equipment, horticulture, transport logistics, and automotive. Automotive is a key part of our portfolio. We have today sales around 12 to 15,000 tons to our tier 1 customers. So the car makers today, they need to make vehicles that have a lower carbon footprint. And for that, they need sustainable materials, they need lighter vehicles, and also electrical motors. Through our portfolio series, we are offering today some solutions to our tier 1 customers by providing them compounds that they can incorporate into their car parts. We are mainly covering exterior application and under the hood. And 1 year ago, we have partnered with Forvia in order to co-develop together innovative compounds for the interior vehicle and addressing the very big challenges of aspect, odor, and impact strength. Together with Forvia, we cover the entire value chain from the collection of all the plastic waste streams up to the production of the car part. And this is why we are really strong together, and we hope to deliver and will deliver in a timely manner some solutions for the market. We are already very happy of the progress made after 1 year. And I'm very pleased to have Mr. Daudin with me today.
Thank you, Laurence. That's a very nice transition to Mr. Daudin, who is from Forvia. Thank you for joining us here in our office, Mr. Daudin. So you are Vice President for Sustainable Transformation at Forvia, and you are also the President of your business unit, Materiact. Please tell us more about the Forvia initiatives on environmental impact.
Thank you, Sven. Thank you, Laurence. Very happy to be there. So Forvia, Tier 1 supplier in the automotive industry, 7th in the world, 150,000 employees, 300 sites. And we deliver interior parts, the dashboard, the door panels, the seats. We deliver also lighting, electronics, and also depollution systems. Our ambition is to become net zero by 2045. We're happy to say that we have been working on this one since 4 years already, and we have been certified in terms of net zero roadmap by the Science Based Target Initiative. And we are happy to say that we are the first in the automotive industry and even the first French company. So now, what is the problem to solve? So Scope 1 and 2, this is what we do at home, so the energy which we use. So this is kind of usual business, I would say. What is difficult is the Scope 3, meaning our value chain upstream and downstream. And downstream, it is what is happening with the cars which we equip. So we have a CO2 allocated to us, but what we have the most control of is what is upstream. And what is upstream is what we buy for our parts. And what do we buy? We buy material. And this is why we need to improve these materials. So we use two kinds of materials: steels, okay, not the topic of today, and plastics. So plastics, we use it extensively in the cars. As Laurence said, it's not easy to use recycled content because it stinks. You know, it's difficult to resist to impact, especially at -30 degrees. So it's quite a difficult topic, and this is why we team together with Veolia, because we need to join our forces to solve these technically difficult project. So, and this is why we have decided to create a specific activity which is called Materiact. So Materiact, we are a pure player in sustainable materials. We just do that, mainly for the automotive industry. We have a portfolio which is going to reach up to 85% of CO2 reduction. So the product lines which are used for their business, but which can be also used for the industries, is compounds, I mean plastics, foils, and carbon fibers. These carbon fibers are used in the tanks which are needed for H2 storage for fuel cell vehicles. So we are established in Lyon. We have a nice tech center over there with a lot of engineering activities, a lab, and also we benefit from the ecosystem. And we will reach 2 billion euro of revenues by 2030.
Thank you, Mr. Daudin. Congratulations for these initiatives. Well, that's the end of our focuses that we wanted to do today. We will now conclude with Benoît to try to wrap up on everything that has been said. Benoît, what do you think? What are the main takeaways for?
Well, maybe before the takeaways, I would say we are at a time of a change of paradigm. We are coming from the old world of recycling, where recycling was done by opportunity to reduce the price versus virgin, opportunity to find a way to valorize materials or plastics waste stream. Today we are moving to the new world of circularity by purpose, where you, your clients, your customers, need and ask for circularity. And this is where we need now really to find the proper streams to deliver what is the bench of the iconic products. Definitely, it's a kind of new paradigm where you all need to give the circular touch to your iconic products, and that's where we want to move forward with you. So takeaway, yes, of course, it's a circular, a collective responsibility. No one has a solution alone. It needs long-term view and long-term partnership with sustainable business models in order to be able to deliver. We need you as front runners to pave the road with us, to commit on long-term, because it is more than time today to build the infrastructures, to secure the sourcing, to secure the contracts, to be able with you to deliver the commitment that most of you as brands has announced to the market. It is time now. The industry is quite suffering. Let's say it clear, because the market conditions are not easy. But it is time today to build for the coming years. I mean, 2025 with a lot of commitments is the year after next year. It's just in terms of industry development, a very short period of time. So let's join this PlastiLoop revolution. We are here to build with you on the long run and to deliver what the planet requires.
Thank you, Benoît. So we are, well, finally right on time for the Q&A. I have a first question here that I would like to ask Mr. Ogura-san from Mitsui. Is your strategy to increase the share of recycled products in your sales? Do you have other projects under development?
Yes, and yeah, my answer is yes. And then based on the brand owners' demand increase in the future, recycled materials share out of our sales portfolio will be increased, but then the timeline by each area might be different depending on the legal system situation to apply recycled materials. At the same time, we don't limit the way of contribution to brand owners. Mechanical recycle and may not be only way to fulfill their demand. It's some area where waste plastic collection system is not fully developed. In such area, in addition to mechanical recycle approach, chemical recycling, the bio-PET approach might be worthwhile. And then a new project, yeah, we are studying not only in Japan also, and in other Asian countries, including also in Africa and also Americas, and under support also. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ogura-san. I have another question here for Mr. Potaufeux concerning Recyclass. We understand that your focus today is packaging, but what about the next steps? Will you also develop guidelines for automotive or building and construction?
That's an excellent point. Indeed, I mean, that's something that we are currently, let's say, evaluating internally. For sure, we understand that when talking about recyclability, plastic packaging is, let's say, a huge market, but it is not the only one. Now, recycling automotive parts, electronics, for instance, requires also sometimes some different expertise. But this is something that we are also looking at, since we know that in the coming years, we will need also to address recyclability of these materials.
Thank you. And an additional question, which legal incentives could be made for enhanced design for recycling, in your opinion?
I think that really by working all together, EPRs, recyclers, brands, companies, I mean, this is really probably the best way to improve all together, because what we see is that quite often the problem is related to a lack of communication between these different actors, where some people think that they have a perfect solution, but actually there may be an issue somewhere else. So I think that really their communication and education is key. And so in this regard, I mean, I would, of course, let's say, invite everyone to join efforts in order to reach the target by 2020-30.
Okay, thank you. I have a question here for Mr. Daudin. You talked a lot about your targets, your development. What about the geographies? We've seen many countries that are active. Where do you want to expand?
Actually, we want to expand everywhere where you have automotive industry, meaning in North America, in Europe, and in China, because cars are global, and the OEMs, they want to make sure that when they design a car with a given material in a given place for a given market, it is also available elsewhere. So our target is to develop simultaneously in all the regions of the world, and it is going to happen already by the end of the year, where we will be going serial live for some of our products.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Daudin. Benoît, we have a question here, I think that's for you, about chemical recycling. What do you think will be the place of chemical recycling in the future? You already talked a little bit about it.
Good question, yeah, good question. One of the promise of the chemical recycling is to be able to give a second life to recycle complex plastics put on the market, and that's definitely where there is a gap to fill. So that's the challenge, and I'm sure they can play a role in that. The second role definitely is to help decarbonizing what together is going to incineration. Definitely, all chemical recycling processes have a better impact than the incineration when it's just a waste to energy plant. When it's something very specific to produce energy on a site, it can be another story. But definitely there is a place to take in that decarbonization of our global waste streams. So that's a key, and of course the promise where definitely chemical recycling will deliver is the, let's say, virgin-like characteristic of the products. So that's very good for the industry. That's easy to use. It does not, as I said, entertain the illusion that eco-design is of non-importance or could be avoided. So, well, that's really the place. Reduce carbon footprint, address the really hard to recycle streams, and deliver the highest quality.
Thank you, Benoît. Here we have a very broad question. I think it's extremely general. What will it take to recycle more plastics? I think maybe Thimothé in the UK, I know you have ideas on this, but if anybody else also wants to complete, please jump in. But Thimothé, go on.
Yep. Yeah, that's a general question, but I think I had the opportunity to discuss with many private clients about setting up projects. The demand is we know the demand is very high for recycled plastics, but I can identify two kind of blockers today to deliver more solutions. I would say the number one is the alignment when we talk about partnership or commercial deal, whatever we call it. Alignment on the duration, alignment on the priorities, and alignment on the price mechanism. That's really important in our view, because to invest into a plastic recycling plant, we know we need some visibility on the next 5 to 10 years. It's very difficult to invest just for 2-3 years demand. And the second one is about the visibility from the government, from the regulation. There's lots going on. I think we've seen in the presentation, the EPR, the DRS, the taxes, all of that is quite vibrant, but it's still not set in stone. So I think it's key as an industry that we feed back to our government, respective government, and ask for a bit of speed and delivery when it comes to visibility, because that's really important for any investors really to understand what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. So yeah, vibrant market, but still volatile. So we need more visibility.
Thank you, Thimothé. Yes, of course, Mr. Daudin.
Can give some insight for the automotive industry. Actually, I would say the responsibility is very much on us. And it's a technical issue, because today what we can offer is typically a recycled content of 30%, something like that. So therefore, there is a 70% part which still needs to be addressed. And there are technology difficulties which we need to overcome. It requires some R&D, some better equipment to refine and to formulate as well. So therefore, it's also a technical and technological topic to be able to recycle more plastic, because there will be no compromise from our customers on the specifications they expect for the parts which we deliver. So therefore, we have to work hard on the technical side.
Okay, good. Thank you. I would also like to hear from Philippe about this question. But while you think about this, I can take a question myself, which is, will the recording and deck of this presentation be made available? So the answer is yes. You will receive the slides and PDFs that have been presented today, and there will be a replay also available for the presentation. But Philippe, do you have ideas on your side on what it takes to increase recycling?
Yes, indeed. So at Circpack, we are entirely material agnostic. We look at materials that work the best in their respective situations. And what we have really seen is that what it takes for something to be recycled is, of course, quite complex. You have to look at the whole value chain. But for plastic specifically, it is still quite a bit cheaper to produce virgin plastics than it is to produce products out of recycled plastics. And once that price evens out a little bit more, in the markets where that has been the case, we have seen quite a bit more interaction with plastics and recycling systems.
Okay, thank you, Philippe.
I would like just to add a point I fully agree with what has just been said about the comparison between virgin and the fact that today virgin being very cheap is detrimental, it's a killer. So what needs to be done is to have legislation which is creates a positive circle and not, let's say, a negative circle for industrials who are suffering today from the crisis already. So it needs to be encouraging and it's to be supporting the implementation, which is long-term, and it takes a lot of R&D effort. So through partnership on the entire value chain, like we're doing for the automotive, we can get through the hurdles, but we also need support from legislation to create a very positive circle.
Okay, thank you, Laurence. And I have a question here for Anthony in Japan. What about eco-design in Japan? Eco-design is really a topic we are looking at. That's good.
Yes, and we touched this just before. Thank you for the question. Yes, many effort has been done on the eco-design in Japan, especially on reducing the weight of plastic product, PET bottle, but also cosmetic packaging and so on. But still, many challenges are remaining, and we probably need to work further and more harder with our partner and client to promote what has been discussed before, for example, mono-layer rather than multi-layering that we can find in many packaging here in Japan. And our challenge here on the PET packaging and eco-design is probably a specific aspect of Japan, but with the vending machine I was telling before are always available 24/7, and we have some heated bottle. And to heat the bottle, the PET bottle needs to contain nylon, and the nylons are not recyclable and unfortunately finish, land always in the residue fraction, which are then going to incineration. So definitely some challenge and works to be done with our partner and client on eco-designing.
Good. Thank you. I think that was also maybe an answer to a question here. What are your solutions regarding complex plastic and packaging sold by organic waste?
I would say organic waste pollution is not that a topic. I mean, we know how to deal with it, except for very specific pollutants that has to be refrained from being put on the market, that's for sure. But on the general topic, organic waste is not a big challenge. We managed to remove it from the streams and to deliver high value and high quality plastics at the output of our plants.
Okay, thank you, Benoît. So I see no other question right now. Well, anyway, we are at the end of the presentation also. It's 11:15. So, well, I would like to thank all the participants, first of all, and you have been up to 325 people connected at the same time, so that's really a nice success. So thank you a lot for your interest for this topic. I would like, of course, to thank all the presenters that were here today, all those from Veolia, but in particular, our invited people, Ogura-san from Mitsui, Mr. Potaufeux from Recyclass, and Mr. Daudin from Forvia. Thank you, really. We value the time and the ideas you were willing to share with us. And congratulations to the organization teams, because doing this thing online is not always so easy, and it's the first of the kind for us here at Veolia. So many thanks, everybody. Yes, we keep connected online with all the information. You can see the links here, and we'll send to you the presentations and the link to the replay. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you, Sven.
Thank you, Sven.